There is so much mystery and beauty in even watching a boat such as this. It sways left and right and is taken wherever small ripples or big waves take it. I realized no matter how big a boat, there will always be a ripple that can cause it to sink. We are no different, are we? For there is a notion of oneself, an identity, a ship that needs to drown sometimes. To realize it does not matter how big it is, but it is the grace of God that steers it. How much better is it to trust in Him, to humble oneself before Him, who created the seas and brings forth ripples and waves. As I drove aimlessly to places familiar but known not, the sky spoke of His glory, the clouds proclaimed His beauty. To where and what for I did not know. But by the Spirit of God I knew this. He leads me, He guideth, and that for Him I walked beneath the trees that proclaimed His goodness. Oh, how magnificent it is when brothers unite. Prabin, Jobin, and Albin, the three musketeers of Marine Drive I will call them. Oh, how the eyes sparkled I will not forget, for the word of God was received to hearts that day, like cold water to the parched tongue. I couldn't record the audio that day, but I believe that too was God's plan. Jesus is no myth and was a man who died for the sins of all. And as Nishant heard the story of Jesus coincidentally at the Jew town at Matajeri, he had but one word to describe Jesus: believe. As Nishant said, those who believe in Jesus, their hope will never fail. And then there's Rosetta. As her name suggests, she indeed was a small rose at heart, pleasant in word, conduct, and spirit. For the things she spoke was nothing less than the truth. Her words reflected the kindness of her heart that yearned to show the world around her the compassion and kindness Christ would have offered. And here is a small part of our conversation.
I think that this is just opinion. I don't like boxes and like fear which what is bringing to people. You know, like religion and Jesus is not like dictatorship, you know, for me. I think that Jesus is the light, it's a love and like unconditional love to everybody because we are all the same. I think there's no differences, we're all humans, and like forgiveness also, and just spreading kindness, you know, like if you like Jesus is a kindness, love, and respect to each others, in my opinion, you know, and like I don't think that people can decide what you should do or what not, because even like Jesus forgave the woman who was acting like, you know, like prostitute, you know, like because you
She
can
was caught in adultery, basically.
yeah, you can't judge anybody that you're gonna be judged, right? So you just need to be free and do your best what you have, right? Like and like I don't know, without judging, without teaching, just with compassion.
Okay.
So this is a Jesus for me, for example, and like nowadays, you know, like church and all this thing, it's connected to the politics, the government, and it's like all about money and power and control. Like people wants to control the masses with the religion, with other things. So it's like, you know, that's why you have in this world many people who are not religious at all, because they see this side that everybody is trying to make money and control people by religion. But this is what people made, bad people made with religion.
Okay.
It's not the base of religion. I don't understand the priests which are wearing this Rolex and driving Mercedes. And I think in Georgia we have in mountains black monks who are living in mountains praying, they don't live in big houses or something. It's about a simple life and to be grounded and to be connected to the earth and try to influence people with good things,
Okay. Now, Eden was a place where, there was God, there was a union between God and man. And when you read the story, you find that something came in between this union between God and man. And because God was a holy God, because he could not partake in any kind of sin that would be present, he had to keep his children outside. Get it? The exile. It was not a punishment. Most people view it as a punishment. But in an opportunity or in a situation where God could have just annihilated what he had created, what did he do? By grace, he kept a barrier between each so that he could still have an influence on his children. He can still bless them. He can still love them. The 10 commandments were given, I believe. The 10 commandments were given to people because they were arrogant enough to believe that they were good. But in fact, God gave just simple 10 commandments that none of us could keep even for one. There was a purpose to what we were created for, and somehow we just sidetracked. And now, because of what Jesus did, we have an opportunity, an invitation to come back to what we were created for. And I believe that Jesus lived in a specific kind of way so that we can learn from him how to be a son of God, how to be a child of God, how to be a daughter of God. Whatever good we do, it's a reflection of what Jesus did. Thank you so much for having a dialogue with me. May God bless you.
My pleasure.
And you wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for God's plan.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have this talk if God hadn't allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
So,
it's true.
this
I
was my
believe it.
first video on this channel. And thank you for blessing it with your beautiful face.
Thank you.
And share the blessing of God everywhere you go. All right?
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
God bless.
And thus was the story of a day in a particular rudderless boat's life. It travelled upon unknown waters, trusting in its creator's plan. The whispers of the wind did the sea so ardently listen to, and in a chaotic harmony did they work together to bring out timely waves and timely ripples to send a small rudderless ship in the way God wanted it to go. I am that small rudderless ship. Thank you, Nishant, Rosetta, Pravin, Jobin, and Albin for gracing my life. May God bless you all.